Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here. We're talking on Over the Top TV. We got Zach Larson here, and we're talking about how to actually put your TV shows together so you can find out what's playing, when it's playing, how it's playing, and how you can get it. That's on this next episode. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to the show. My name is Jeffrey Powers for Geekazine.com. Today we've got a great great person on here. We're going to talk about his website. We're going to talk about a lot about Over the Top TV. We've got Zach Larson on the line here, and he is from a website called SideReel.com. How you doing today, Zach?
Great. How about you?
I'm doing great. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what SideReel is and how it works in the over the top community?
Sure. Sure. Yeah. So SideReel was the 10-foot experience of having a web browser and a fully internet-connected device onto your TV. And we're sort of going along with that. We have a HTML5 interface to it that lets people sort of easily browse. We've got some specific applications that we're working on: Boxy, Android, iPhone, iPad, that kind of stuff.
Roku?
Not yet. Not yet. We can only do so much at once, and kind of looking at where the market's at and going towards those first.
Totally understandable. My preference of over the top choice is Roku, simply because of the fact of the ease of use for somebody who's still got a standard CRT TV out
Sure.
there and wants to just watch SD TV.
Sure.
So basically, what this is this more like a TV guide type of website for content?
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, people come to our site, and there's a lot of them. We're in the top 500 sites of the U.S., and they find all their favorite TV shows, both old classics like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that's a big one, and newer shows like Modern Family and Glee. And they keep track of which episodes they've watched, which they haven't. And where they can watch all the different ones. Some are on Hulu, some are on iTunes, some are on Amazon, and there's just a lot of stuff out there. And it's hard for people to sort through where everything is.
All right. And so basically they hit the watch online and then they can choose
Yeah.
what they're going to
Exactly.
use to
So
watch on it.
the desktop experience is, it's much more complex, I guess, than the 10-foot experience. Because when you think about the 10-foot experience, what you're thinking about, people leaning back on the couch, they've got the remote in their hand, they only have like 4 or 5 buttons to press, instead of a full keyboard. And what they're really looking to do is just get to their show and watch their show. There's some ancillary stuff around there. Like maybe they want to see Twitter alongside it. Google TV makes that possible. Or, maybe they want to see Facebook stuff or check into Facebook, that kind of stuff. But really, they want to watch their show on their big, nice TV at home.
Yeah, definitely. And I know there's many a times that I go and I try and watch a show. I'm looking for a show. I can't find the show, and that's
Yeah.
the key right there. Is I just don't know where it is. Of course, with regular network TV, that's pretty straightforward. You go to CBS, NBC, ABC, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But when these lines start to really skew, and then you have new channels out there like Coldcast, like the Break.com and stuff like
Break.com,
that,
sure.
and
Sure.
try and get that content. That this is where this is really going to fall right in. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's 2 things there. First one is that younger and younger demographics, they don't have an awareness of where their shows air. They just don't know. Like people who are 18 to 24 may really like Gossip Girl, but they're not really going to know that it airs on the CW, and they're really not going to know that it airs at 9 o'clock on Wednesdays, if that's even when it airs. They just know that they like that show and they want to watch, maybe once a week. So a way to sort of disambiguate that stuff from the normal sort of, TV guide that came in your paper experience is kind of what we're after there. And then there's also, like you said, there's all sorts of different types of content that aren't being produced by the top 4 or 5 networks. AMC now has a pretty good stable of shows. And then there's the shorter form stuff like Funny or Die, College Humor. I mean, I watch The Guild. I watch Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis. And, you're not going to find that in a TV guide anywhere.
No,
you just
not
got to
at
go
all.
online and search for it.
Exactly. So, what's interesting about this is you were talking about how you're getting onto the boxes out there. My question to you is with SideReel, it looks like you can choose. You can say, okay, I want if I want to watch Glee, I can watch it on iTunes. I can choose the iTunes. I can choose the Amazon Video and stuff like that. But when you get onto these content boxes, especially when it comes to Apple and iTunes, There is no iTunes on a Roku. There is no iTunes on a
Right.
on a Boxy Box, and I don't know if that's. I'm hoping that'll change eventually, but I don't think
Yeah.
it's going to change. But is that going to is that something where it becomes a possibility? Like for instance, let's say I'm on my Roku box and I say, hey, I see the SideReel app and it's like, hey, I want to watch Glee, but I want to watch Glee and I want to put it into my iTunes library as opposed to my watch it through Amazon or something like that. Will that be possible?
It's not. That's actually not technically possible right now. Part of it is the way that the iTunes Store works and the way that the licensing around the iTunes Store works. I mean, we are constantly evaluating which sources are available on which devices, and we're keeping track of that. So if you use our HTML5 interface on Google TV, you're not going to see iTunes because it won't work there. And it's nothing more frustrating than trying to watch something and not being able to do it. But that being said, we'd love to give as many options to the users as possible. Wherever it can be watched, we want to help them watch it. We'd love to push more people to iTunes, more people to Amazon where appropriate. iTunes is a great experience for watching stuff. We'd like to support that, but a lot of that depends on where Steve Jobs wants to take it.
Definitely. Now, where do you see people going the most? Are they going to the Amazon videos or the iTunes or?
It's more iTunes than Amazon. We have a lot of people that buy both. People obviously like the streaming online as opposed to the purchase through an application like iTunes, right?
Wait, let's back up a second. You said they buy both?
Well, I mean, there are people that rarely will one person buy both an iTunes and an Amazon one, but they're both pretty popular. iTunes is a little more popular, but yeah, they're both pretty popular.
So they'll buy both. They'll buy some shows on Amazon. They'll buy some shows on. Okay, right. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you have these people that have. I just watched a show where the guy was showing off his movie collection, and he showed off his Spider-Man. He had Spider-Man 2.1, and then he had Spider-Man for Blu-ray. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody has a movie on iTunes and Amazon Video and TV shows.
And I know people like that. I know people who who actually will buy it on Amazon and iTunes. On iTunes because they want to watch it on their phone or their iPad, and on Amazon because they want to watch it through a connected device. And iTunes doesn't work that well except for Apple TV.
All right. Well, what kind of length shows are we talking? I mean, when you have a regular structured TV show like an ABC show or CBS show or something like that, but now we're getting into this new content, and where new content, their idea still sticks in the podcast realm, and that was basically you did a show for 20 minutes, and at the most you didn't go over 20 minutes. A lot of these episodes, a lot of these shows do 10-minute shows.
Right.
To conform to YouTube, now 15 minutes since YouTube switched to the 15-minute format.
Right.
But do you see these people searching for these 10, 15-minute shows, series and stuff like that?
Yeah, they're picking up. I mean, like I said, like Between Two Ferns, Zach Galifianakis, The Guild, things that are kind of, they're professionally produced. They're not super glitzy and glam. They're not Hawaii Five-0 on CBS or whatever it is, but they're interesting, they're entertaining, and it's really more the 5 to 10 minute. It's really I want to take a little bite for video. I want to watch something funny. I want to watch something entertaining. And then there's a bunch of shows that are produced by the networks to attach to other shows. Dexter's got some stuff. 30 Rock's got some stuff. The Office has some stuff. Things that are sort of ancillary content that again provides a sort of like that 5 to 10 minute bite of entertainment for people.
Yeah.
Alongside their other shows.
Actually you talk about Dexter, and I was just talking at Blog World with Mike Rotman, who does a series of shows, including the Kevin Pollak Chat Show, and another one he does is what's it called? Something for Dexter.
Early cuts.
Yeah, well, it's just basically people sitting around a table talking about Dexter episodes, and he was talking about the whole concept of getting the studio together and getting it going so he can have all these shows out there. Like I said, he's got everything on blip.tv, so you can go over there and you can find that type of stuff. And so content like that, which is in overabundance and has a great backing to be able to get into a schedule and stuff like that is just it's more detrimental, especially to find the content.
Yeah.
With shows like that, seasons become muddled and episodes become
Right.
muddled. But
Right.
should there still be a structure on that type of show?
That's a really interesting question. What's something we're thinking about a lot right now because in web TV, it's kind of what we call it. It doesn't really have the sort of baggage and nomenclature that TV and movies has, right? I mean, someone says a TV episode, you kind of know what to expect out of that.
Yeah.
So we're kind of figuring that out still, but there's clear relations between the TV shows and the TV, and these sort of like these online bits, the web TV stuff. And we can provide some editorial recommendations between, you like 30 Rock, you might like this. You like The Office, you might like Zach Galifianakis, that sort of stuff. And that's how we can sort of get people to find out about those things. And once they start experiencing it, they become fans of it. And SideReel helps them keep track of that show. And so there's that. And then we're also sort of through a variety of our interfaces, both online and 10-foot experience, providing some editorially curated, like here's the best of the best. There's a lot of web TV stuff out there.
Yeah.
The low barrier to entry means you get a lot more of it, and you get a lot more of it, and a lot of it's not as good and not that great. But there's some real gems out there, and we can help people find that stuff.
Yeah, stuff like this show, not that great.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about it on a different level here. Let's say a good example. We had a couple shows that I was really into. End of season last year, they said that they weren't going to renew it. That was on ABC. We had, and I forgot the name of the show. Right, it was called Flash Forward. That was the name.
Flash Forward, sure.
Flash Forward.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Heroes series, which everybody's going,
Right.
What happened with Heroes? Why is it not back? Is it going to go to movie form, so on and so forth?
Right. Right.
Are you seeing any shows that were on mainstream, maybe a TBS or something like that, all of a sudden switch to a web format to kind of finish out where they left off?
Not, I haven't seen many of the shows doing that yet. I mean, there's some shows that are pushing more extra bits onto the internet. Like you'll watch like an occasional daily show, and Jon Stewart will be deep into an interview, and after about 20 minutes, when he has to end his show, he'll just turn to the camera and say, "Hey, you can catch the rest of this online, and you can just go follow for an extended episode there," and that's cool. I think the studios are still figuring that out. I mean, you saw Friday Night Lights was on, I think NBC originally, then disappeared, then became available via DirecTV, and then DirecTV and some, I think it was NBC again. And they're kind of figuring out the distribution model for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I really wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing more and more shows being the sort of, cheaper produced, online only, or crossing over between online and offline. Heroes, like you mentioned, was really good at that and was a real innovator in the beginning of having some stuff online, some stuff offline.
Yeah, they had Sprint do the
Right.
contest where they ended up getting a character called Santiago, if I remember correctly,
Right.
who didn't predict moves, but he could view every possible move to
Right.
make the correct move. So yeah, that's definitely.
And there's still some Heroes content online. Even though the show's been canceled and it's over with now, online or on NBC, there might still be a movie, like you said. Who knows? But the beauty of the internet distribution model is that fans can start to ask for it. People can produce it quickly and satisfy that need and be able to iterate around it.
Yeah, kind of like the YouTube, hey, I want to see what the Avengers movie is going to be like, so I'm going to put together a trailer
Exactly.
and go from there. So,
Exactly.
My big question to you, I've been asking everybody, have you cut your cord yet?
Boy, I did for about 2 years, and the only thing that brought me back was sports.
Oh, really?
Sports is a really tough thing to watch time shifted, and when you think about cutting your cord, right, you're essentially devoting yourself to the time shifted model, and I like the San Francisco 49ers, and I want to watch their games when they're live, even though the team's not very good this year.
Sorry about that game, by the way, on Sunday.
Oh man, it was bad. Congratulations, though. It was good for you guys.
Well, one good thing about the San Francisco 49ers is the Green Bay Packers didn't fire another head coach.
It's true. It's true.
So,
but I pretty much watch all my shows time shifted or online in some way. I buy Hawaii 5-0 from iTunes and download it to my iPad. Watch it while I'm on the train in the morning. I watch Fringe through Hulu when that's on. I've been watching a lot of the ancillary Walking Dead bits through the AMC website.
Mm-hmm.
And SideReel really helps me keep track of where all those things are, because honestly, if I had to figure that out on my own, I probably wouldn't watch any of them.
I totally understand. I haven't had cable in a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
the one show that I always wanted to watch was Mad Men, and so
Right,
2 years ago I ended up getting Mad Men on iTunes,
right, exactly.
and I'm going to continue to get Mad Men on iTunes. It's just I have the last two seasons. It only makes sense to keep that
Yep.
set together. And of course, getting if I get any other shows, will I go over to Amazon? I don't really know about that, but the control content of some of these boxes out there is just how do you keep control on that? And that's where something like, of course, SideReel comes in, correct?
Right, right. And with SideReel, you can buy one episode from iTunes, another one from Amazon. You come back and you can say, oh yeah, I wanted to watch this episode. Open it up, click the Amazon link, and if you bought it, it'll start playing.
Okay.
Click the iTunes link, and if you bought it, it'll start playing.
All
So
right.
you don't need to remember where you put all your content.
All right. Next question for you. What's your favorite box out there?
Boy, that's a tough question. I'll give you a couple different answers. The first one, I really like the openness of the Google TV box. I mean,
Okay.
it's way early. It's not going to be a big seller this year, I don't think.
With
We
all
have
with all the
a
blocking,
specific,
it's just not going to happen. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's just needs a lot of work, and that's okay. They'll get there, but I really like the openness, the ease of developing applications for it, the ease of using it. They put a lot of thought into that. The Apple TV box is, because it's behind the Apple, firewall. It's fantastic. The content on there is great. When I buy it, it shows up. Netflix is on there. That's nice. But the Boxy box, I think it has the most promise right now. It's got the openness. It's got a little more polish. It's got broader integration, and that's the current one I've been playing around with that I like the most.
Well, the one thing I like about Boxy is all you need to know is XML code, and you've got yourself
Right.
a channel put together. And
Exactly.
now Roku's actually going to be part of Boxy,
Right,
from my
in some way.
understanding. Yeah, and so it's very versatile. At first, when I saw the $200 price tag, I was like, "Oh my God, $200! It's just not going to fit in the market." But
Right.
now the fact that you can turn two over-the-top TV boxes into one, that makes more
Right.
sense. Do you
I mean,
see?
I think
Go ahead.
the real price point really is about $100. It's just going to take people a little while to get there. People aren't going to spend $500 for an additional accessory that essentially puts a web browser on their TV.
Well, but they're not going to buy the accessory. They're going to end up buying the TV in 2 to 3 years. It's just a question of whether it's going to have architecture from Boxy, from Apple,
Right.
from Google, or from Roku, or another content
Yeah.
provider.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big open market still. We'll see how it sorts itself out.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's Roku would be that much better if it had a Blu-ray on it, but
Okay.
with all the licensing issues through Sony and stuff like that, I don't think that would be a good thing for Roku, and their box, of course,
Right.
would be about
Right.
$200. Yeah.
And we're really committed at SideReel to getting the SideReel experience onto as many of those devices as possible. So whatever you happen to have will be your index.
Which box do you think will come out within the next year and show real promise? Is there a new box that people aren't talking about just yet, or?
I've we've looked at some early models of V-Beam. That's interesting. I think there's some still work there. I'm expecting there to be another iteration around Google TV,
Mhm.
probably sometime around March or April next year. Whether that's just software or another hardware revision, I'm not sure, but that will sort of shake things up again. And in January, Google's going to, I think it's January, can open up the Android marketplace for the Google TV devices.
Yep.
And I think you'll start getting more and more interesting development happening there that'll push that further.
Yeah, definitely. Well, even with Apple, I mean, it took Apple 3-4 years before they decided to
Right.
really adopt into an Apple TV market. So, and a lot of people, I remember when the first Apple TV came out, and everybody was going, "Oh, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. We're really happy." And then the second year, they were going, "Wait a minute, you're putting out new Macs and new iPods and new iPhones and nothing in the Apple TV." And then the next year came around, and they're going like, "Did you forget about us?
Right.
What's going on?" And then they finally came out and they said, here's the new Apple TV, and everybody's going, ooh, I'm all happy about this. I'm all excited. It's good. We're going to do it again. But the real question is Apple going to continue on with that trend, or are they going to just wait another 4 years and come up with something and stayed in the walled garden?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I got to say the Apple TV device itself is a good price point, $100, and it's a really slick device. It's small, it's quiet, it's nice.
Yeah. The only problem I have with Apple TV was just the fact that you could only hook up via HDMI.
Yeah.
And that really bugged me. There was no other options to get into, because even though most people nowadays have a flat panel TV, the majority of TVs out there are still a cathode ray tube. It
right,
is,
that's true.
and that's and that's what I like about Roku myself. So.
Makes sense.
Okay, well let's move a little bit about Google TV, because we're now talking about set-top boxes that actually give you a full browser experience and kind of turn your TV into a web. Do you think that that's going to be more or less of a play when it comes to getting over-the-top TV?
I'm sorry, you cut out there a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Putting a web browser onto something like a Google TV or an Xbox 360 or something like that, kind of turning your TV more into the web browser rather than the content delivery unit. What are your thoughts? Is that going to be a trend, or is that going to be a fad?
I think it's going to be a trend. I think more and more people are going to be putting web browsers on these things in some form, if only because the web browser delivery system makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's already applications online serving this stuff in HTML. Having another format, Samsung's got their own format for applications on their device, and that doesn't embrace the openness that the web really offers. It makes it harder for individual developers to write stuff. And so, I really think there's going to be more web browsers or more web browser-like things on TVs, but I think it's going to take a little while for that to happen.
Yeah, definitely. You got a little brood going on in the background when
I know
what you're doing.
I think they want to have a meeting in here, but that's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get going. Is there anything that you think people should know about what's happening in this new space that we should be focusing on for the future?
Yeah, that's what we're really keeping our eyes on at SideReel is like you mentioned earlier, the diverging of content into a lot of different channels, right? There's no longer just the big three networks now. There's 5, and soon there's going to be 7, 10, 12, right? And then there's all the online stuff.
Well, and then with like for over-the-air TV, you have the 4 networks, but those 4 networks have the ability to actually put daisy chain 2 extra networks. So, like for instance, the local Fox affiliate also has a rock video channel and a country music channel.
Sure.
To that.
Exactly.
So now you've got whereas you had 4 channels on over-the-air TV, you now have 13.
Yep. I mean, so more channels for TV, more related content, more content being produced by more people, and it just it being harder and harder for consumers to keep track of where everything is, and that's where SideReel comes in. And
that'll be really cool to actually see and cultivate. I'm assuming there's more interactivity that I haven't seen just yet with SideReel, since I'm pretty new to the website itself. So
yeah,
can't wait to see what happens, especially when you start putting onto the boxes and go from there. So
for sure.
All right, perfect. Well, Zach, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
And we'll definitely talk again, if that's okay with you.
Sounds great.
Okay, perfect. For over-the-top TV discussions, my name is Jeffrey Powers with Geekazine.com. You can check everything out over at Geekazine, www.geekazine.com. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks again to Zach, and we will see you next time.